One of my favorite books is Hustle Harder by 50 Cent.
Love that.
And it's really funny because he goes back and forth to where, like, at one point he's working in A&R for a record company, and then he goes flashes back to selling crack in Queens. And he's like, he's got lessons for entrepreneurs while he's a crack dealer in Queens.
Yeah.
And it's something that I think you were asking on another podcast where it's like, you see that a lot of these guys who are hardcore entrepreneurs, Ryan Stewman's such a great example. Wes Watson is another great example.
Yeah, friends of mine.
They did wild shit, but like that fire was just, it was misplaced when they were younger.
Yep.
And now they become multi-deca millionaires, 100 millionaires because they're using this fire in entrepreneurship. Does it teach you entrepreneurship?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I learned more from the street and selling drugs than most people learn in an MBA program.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done very well in business. I'm a 15-year-old dropout. I don't even have a GED.
Yeah.
I've never stepped on a college campus.
Yeah. I mean, the story just seems so crazy. You're robbing drug dealers and you exit your business for $100 million. And it wasn't that long ago between the two things, right?
Yeah, no, I got sober December 7th of 2006, and I sold my business December 21st of 2021.
Yeah. Madness.
15 years.
15 years from the time you get sober to a $115 million
15
exit.
years. On day one of 15 years, I'm on the run for armed robbery, 135 pounds, track marks up and down, 2 pairs of clothes in a trash bag, homeless, kicking a dope habit. And, 15 years later, just about selling the business for $115 million.
Can you talk about now what happens December 7th, 2006? You come to this realization that this is your opportunity to change. And then when you do so, now you get into what are
You have such a nice way of saying things.
Yeah.
I robbed a kid there was a drug deal gone bad, and
Yeah.
I robbed him with a butcher knife, kitchen knife, and the night before, and they locked the neighborhood that I was in down and were searching for me. And you're like, you had this epiphany. Like, I just didn't want to die or go to prison.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea that I was changing my life forever. I was just like, I'm not going to prison, and I gotta get clean. And that's how it started.
You went over the origin of the 12-step program.
Yeah.
It was a 6-step program back in the 1930s. Can you go into that?
So Bill Wilson and Dr. Bob are the co-founders of Alcoholics Anonymous, and Bill Wilson was the first one. And Bill Wilson's a New York City stockbroker, struggling with alcoholism. He's in and out of a hospital called Towns Hospital under the care of a physician named Dr. Silkworth. And on his third time, essentially detoxing in this hospital, a member of this religious movement called the Oxford Group, which had broken off from the conventional church and created a 6-step program of spiritual action to produce a conversional experience, came and saw him at his bedside. And they started doing this spiritual religious work with Bill. Bill has what he calls a white light spiritual experience, which changes him from the inside out and removes his obsession to drink alcohol for the rest of his life. I just opened a treatment center in Columbus, Ohio, a new one called White Light.
Okay, yeah. And you said you'd never met him personally. He died a year before you
No,
got
that's
sober.
a different guy.
Okay, got it.
You're talking about a guy named Don Pritz here. Bill Wilson died in like the 60s or the 70s or something, I forget. But yeah, and then he takes that experience, works with 100 alcoholics, and eventually the first one to get sober and stay sober is a proctologist, an ass doctor from Akron, Ohio.
Yes.
Dr. Bob, and that was the birth of AA, which was in June of 1935.
It's